Hey guys, it's Simon and welcome back to my libgdx Kotlin tutorial series. So in this part we are going to convert now the Java project to a Kotlin project because we really want to use Kotlin instead of Java. And to do that we need to convert first of all the launcher classes that we have in the Android and desktop backend that we saw the last time, and we also need to convert our game classes, so with the screen which is currently just rendering a black screen, a black window, that one we are also going to convert to Kotlin. The reason why it's not out of the box a Kotlin code, I asked that already the guy who is maintaining the GDX Liftoff setup, and he said that there are sometimes people mentions that there are sometimes problems when you convert the launchers to Kotlin code, that it's not running properly every time when you do it in IDE. And I can tell you that that's actually the case for me as well, but usually I just need to run it 2 times. So first of all, let's stop the Android launch from last time. So sometimes you will have the problem that when you launch the desktop application that you get an error that the main class cannot be found, and normally I just run it then a second time and then it's working. I have no idea why that is happening, but from time to time that's happening. That's true, and that's why the guy who is making this setup jar did not want to make the code that is generated Kotlin code at the moment, because there are still problems with that. But in my opinion it's not a big deal, and since we want to use Kotlin we should then actually use it everywhere and not just partly. Okay, so let's start with the desktop launcher. So the first problem that we already have here is that it's in the Java folder. Blech, we don't want that, we want to have it in our Kotlin folder. So let's move it there. So we move that to our Kotlin folder, then we can delete of course the package and the Java folder because we don't need that anymore, we only need Kotlin. Then IntelliJ can help us a little bit to convert that to a Kotlin file here at the end. So convert Java file to Kotlin file. Takes a little bit of time, it's not the best. Let's say we will improve it a little bit. Some code, the rest of it may require corrections. Yeah, just do it. So first of all, it creates here an object launcher. Then it has this JVM static main stuff, and we don't need all of that in Kotlin because we can just get rid of the object. It's not needed. We don't need the JVM static. Then create application. We also don't need that. We can simply call it like that with the default configuration. Let's get rid of that method. Then we also don't need the arguments in the Kotlin main. It's a lot simpler. And the default configuration is actually nothing else than this LWJGL3 application configuration, a new instance, and we can use then apply. That's one of the Kotlin extension methods, which takes the instance that we have here. Now we can modify it in the block and it will return then also this instance. So everything that is inside here, we can move it up there like this. And we don't need configuration because we have actually this already in this block. Then we can get rid of all of that. Import and optimize the imports. And in the end, to show it to you, we have then something like this. So we have a main method. We create a new application instance of our game. So that's the first parameter. You remember in the setup class, we said that we want to call it dark matter. That's the entry point of our game. And we need a new configuration object. So how should the desktop window be configured, let's say. The title should be like this. Of course, we can add here, for example, spaces, makes more sense. Then what is the window mode? So the width and the height of the window, and which icons should it use. And there we get 4 icons with the setup jar, and the one which is the closest to which should be used to for the window will then be used. So that the one which is closest to the real scaling will then be used. That's why here different resolutions are provided, and depending on the resolution on the computer, it will then use different icons. And the icons itself, if you want to change them, they are stored, I think, in the resources folder. Yeah, correct. Here, there you find those 4 icons from the GDX lift off jar. So you see this is the bad quality version, this is a better one, and this is the highest one. And depending on what resolution we have, it will use a different icon. Okay, and with that we converted already the desktop launcher. Let's go to the next one, which would be the Android launcher. Same thing, we move everything from the Java to the Kotlin project or folder. Then we can delete the Java folder again. Let's go already in the presentation mode. Let's fix this one here as well. Now we have our Kotlin file. And also here we can improve that a little bit. Actually not a lot to improve there, I would say. Not sure, I think I changed, I called something here as well. So also here you can use apply again. And there would be several things that you could set. So currently, as you see here, so I wanted to show you something here with the configuration, but I cannot jump to it at the moment. And the reason is, you can already see it. So currently this folder is not recognized as a source folder. And the reason is that in the Android build Gradle file, we have here that our source directory is actually the Java one, but we changed it now to Kotlin. So there we need to change a couple of things. Everything where it mentions Java, let's find all of these locations. Those are those three. They need to be changed to Kotlin. Then we need to synchronize the project once more. And now we should be good to go. Yes, so the Kotlin folder is now blue, so it recognizes it now as a correct source folder. And now also the auto completion, everything is working. And what I want to show you here, so also here in the Android application configuration, you could change things like, for example, can you use the accelerometer of your phone, the gyroscope, the compass, the rotation. Yeah, different things. Should it show the status bar? Is audio in general disabled? How many sounds can you play simultaneously at once? So all of these things can be set up then in the configuration here. So currently we don't change that. We leave it to the out-of-the-box default behavior that we had before. So it's like this. And now our Android launcher is also correctly set up. And as I mentioned, or as we saw it before, so in our build Gradle file of the desktop, there we see that currently our main class name is called like this. So this was from the installation before with the Java class. But since we are using now Kotlin, we need to change that to, if I remember, big capital K and small t for Kotlin, because every Kotlin file always ends with KT. And then also let's synchronize that one. And now everything should be still good. Let's see. So let's run now our desktop Kotlin file. And voila, it's running. So we still see the black window. Everything is good. We have here the spaces in between. And yeah, I would say nice. So we converted already the launchers to correct Kotlin code. And we adjusted now also the locations of the Kotlin files to the correct location. Next one would be our game class. So let's switch to that one. How do we call it? Dark matter. Yes. So here also converted to Kotlin. Of course, I forgot the hotkey again. Was it Control K? Control Shift K? Control Alt K? No. What was it? It was Controlled Alt Shift K. Okay. Let's try to remember that. Convert. And let's also convert the screen. And let's move the entire thing again to the Kotlin source folder. Okay, with that we don't need our Java folder actually anymore, because we have everything now in our Kotlin folder. We have converted it. I would say for the time being, because we actually changed this part here in the next part when we use the first KTX extension and also the first screen, we will also leave it like that for the time being, because that will be replaced very soon. And now let's see if we did everything correctly and if we can still run it. Looks good. We get our black window, and that is actually what we wanted. Perfect. that's it for the first part. So we now converted successfully to Kotlin. Everything is now a Kotlin project. And there's just one last thing that I want to mention here, and it's using a repository or version control system, like for example Git and together with GitHub. The reason why I want to recommend that is that you, even if you are a beginner, you should start learning to use it, because I will show you something. Let me change to the real project. So as you can see here, so that's the actual project on GitHub for Dark Matter. We already have a, would say not a big game of course, but a small game, couple of classes in there. You have a new idea, you want to change something and you start coding. So you are starting to change things. Like for example here, it does not make sense at all what I do here, but just that you see it. So we changed here the rotation, the standard rotation. We changed the default size of all the objects in the game. We maybe add completely new systems. We changed the damage from that you are taking in the area per second. So we first of all make the damage area higher from 2 to 4. Then the damage per second to 35. Then we add completely new things. And maybe after 1 hour or 2 or 3 or 4 hours, you notice, damn, I changed so much and it's not working out the way that I wanted to have it. And now what you do? You are screwed. I've been there. Maybe you guys have also been there. You change then maybe 20, 30 source code files and you don't remember anymore which things you really changed, and you need to revert everything manually. And this is just not possible. It's possible, yes, of course, but with a lot of effort, and it consumes a lot of time, and that's not the way you should go. So that's why you should use a version control system. GitHub is for free. You can make your account, you can upload there, no problem, super easy. And as you see now here, so we changed a couple of things and it always keeps now track. So when we check out now here in our commit dialog, we see the changes. So we changed the damage area from 2 to 3, the damage per second from 25 to 35, and we could go through these changes. So maybe some of them we want to keep, but maybe some of them were completely garbage, or a complete system or complete file did not turn out the way we wanted to have it. So we can simply roll back to the previous version. And that's it. And maybe here we were happy with that change, so that the size is bigger and the rotation is something else. Then we can still keep that. And here with this history and this tracking, it's just easier to try out new things because you're always safe. Always try to commit or push a stable version of your code where you know, okay, this is already what I want. This is already stable. I can run it. It's good. Use that, push it. And then when you try out new things or develop completely new features, do it then after the push or the commit, because then you can keep track of the changes, and it's then easier if something does not turn out the way you want to use it, then it's easier to revert it, as you have seen it here. So this is just a general suggestion. Please use a version control system for your source code. Okay, and with that I would say that's it. We can now really start with our game. So we did the setup, we converted everything to Kotlin. So now we are ready to go into the depths of the code and learn it step by step. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.